Barack Obama. Address to the 113th Convention of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Delivered July 23, 2012, Reno, Nevada. Thank you. Hello VFW. Thank you so much. Please, everybody have a seat. Commander Dinoir, thank you for your introduction. And your service in Vietnam and on behalf of America's veterans. I want to thank your Executive Director, Bob Wallace, your next commander. Who I look forward to working with, John Hamilton. And to Gwen Rankin, Leanne Lemley, and the entire Ladies Auxiliary. Thank you for your patriotic service to America. I stand before you as our hearts still ache over the tragedy in Aurora, Colorado. Yesterday I was in Aurora, with families whose loss is hard to imagine, with the wounded. Who are fighting to recover, with a community and a military base in the midst of their grief. And they told me of the loved ones they lost. And here today. It's fitting to recall those who wore our nation's uniform. Staff Sergeant Jesse Childress, an Air Force reservist, 29 years old. A cyber specialist who loved sports, the kind of guy, said a friend, who'd help anybody. Petty Officer 3rd Class John Larimer, 27 years old, who like his father and grandfather before him, joined the Navy, and who is remembered as an outstanding shipmate. Rebecca Wingo, 32 years old, a veteran of the Air Force, fluent in Chinese. Who served as a translator, a mother, whose life will be an inspiration to her two little girls. And Jonathan Blunk from Reno, just 26 years old, but a veteran of 3 Navy tours. Whose family and friends will always know that in that theater he gave his own life to save another. These young patriots were willing to serve in faraway lands, yet they were taken from us here at home. And yesterday I conveyed to their families a message on behalf of all Americans. We honor your loved ones. We salute their service. And as you summon the strength to carry on and keep bright their legacy, we stand with you as one united American family. Veterans of foreign wars, in you I see the same shining values, the virtues that make America great. When our harbor was bombed and fascism was on the march. When the fighting raged in Korea and Vietnam, when our country was attacked on that clear September morning. When our forces were sent to Iraq, you answered your country's call. Because you know what Americans must always remember: our nation only endures because there are patriots who protect it. In the crucible of battle, you were tested in ways the rest of us will never know. You carry in your hearts the memory of the comrades you lost. For you understand. That we must honor our fallen heroes not just on Memorial Day, but all days. And when an American goes missing, or is taken prisoner, we must do everything in our power to bring them home. Even after you took off the uniform, you never stopped serving. You took care of each other, fighting for the benefits and care you had earned. And you've taken care of the generations that followed, including our newest veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan. On behalf of all our men and women in uniform, and on behalf of the American people, I want to thank you, VFW. Thank you for your outstanding work. Of course, some among you are Vietnam veterans didn't always receive that thanks, at least not on time. This past Memorial Day, I joined some of you at the wall to begin the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And it was another chance to say what should have been said all along. You did your duty, and you made us proud. And as this 50th anniversary continues, I'd ask all our Vietnam vets to stand. Or raise your hand, as we say, thank you and welcome home. Every generation among you served to keep us strong and free. And it falls to us, those that follow, to preserve what you won. "4 years ago, I stood before you at a time of great challenge for our nation. We were engaged in 2 wars. Al-Qaeda was entrenched in their safe havens in Pakistan. Many of our alliances were frayed. Our standing in the world had suffered. We were in the worst recession of our lifetimes. Around the world, some questioned whether the United States still had the capacity to lead. So, 4 years ago, I made you a promise. I pledged to take the fight to our enemies, and renew our leadership in the world. As president, That's what I've done. And as you reflect on recent years, as we look ahead to the challenges we face, as a nation and the leadership that's required, you don't just have my words, you have my deeds. You have my track record. You have the promises I've made and the promises that I've kept. I pledged to end the war in Iraq honorably, and that's what we've done. After I took office, we removed nearly 150. U.S. troops from Iraq. And some said that bringing our troops home last year was a mistake. They would have kept tens of thousands of our forces in Iraq indefinitely, without a clear mission. Well, when you're commander-in-chief, you owe the troops a plan. You owe the country a plan, and that includes recognizing not just when to begin wars, but also how to end them. So we brought our troops home responsibly. They left with their heads held high, knowing they gave Iraqis a chance to forge their own future. And today, there are no Americans fighting in Iraq, and we are proud of all the Americans who served there. I pledged to make it a priority to take out the terrorists who had attacked us on September 11th. And as a candidate, I said that if we had Osama bin Laden in our sights, we would act to keep America safe, even if it meant going into Pakistan. Some of you remember, at the time, that comment drew quite a bit of criticism. But since I took office, we've worked with our allies and our partners to take out more top Al-Qaeda leaders than any time since 9/11. And thanks to the courage and the skill of our forces. Osama bin Laden will never threaten America again, and Al-Qaeda is on the road to defeat. I pledge to finish the job in Afghanistan. After years of drift, we had to break the momentum of the Taliban. And build up the capacity and the capability of Afghans. And so, working with our commanders, we came up with a new strategy. And we ordered additional forces to get the job done. This is still a tough fight. But thanks to the incredible services and sacrifices of our troops. We pushed the Taliban back, we're training Afghan forces, we've begun the transition to Afghan lead. Again, there are those who argued against a timeline for ending this war or against talking about it publicly. But you know what, that's not a plan for America's security either. After 10 years of war, and given the progress we've made, I felt it was important that the American people and our men and women in uniform know our plan to end this war. Responsibly. And so by the end of this summer, more than 30,000 of our troops will have come home. Next year, Afghans will take the lead for their own security. In 2014, the transition will be complete. And even as our troops come home, we'll have a strong partnership with the Afghan people. And we will stay vigilant so Afghanistan is never again a source for attacks against America. We're not just ending these wars, we're doing it in a way that achieves our objectives. Moreover, it's allowed us to broaden our vision and begin a new era of American Leadership. We're leading from Europe to the Asia Pacific, with alliances that have never been stronger. We're leading the fight against nuclear dangers. We've applied the strongest sanctions ever on Iran and North Korea. Nations that cannot be allowed to threaten the world with nuclear weapons. We're leading on behalf of freedom, standing with people in the Middle East and North Africa as they demand their rights. Protecting the Libyan people as they rid the world of Muammar Gaddafi. Today, we're also working for a transition so the Syrian people can have a better future. Free of the Assad regime. And given the regime's stockpiles of chemical weapons, we will continue to make it clear to Assad. And those around him that the world is watching, and that they will be held accountable by the international community and the United States, should they make the tragic mistake of using those weapons. And we will continue to work with our friends and our allies and the Syrian opposition on behalf of the day when the Syrian people have a government that respects their basic rights to live in peace and freedom and dignity. Because we're leading around the world, people have a new attitude toward America. There's more confidence in our leadership. We see it everywhere. We go. We saw it as grateful Libyans waved American flags. We see it across the globe when people are asked, which country do you admire the most? One nation comes out on top: the United States of America.